Hello, and welcome to On the Turf, hosted by two guys who have never been on the turf. My name is Arjun and Ryan.
I'm Sri Bamakonda.
And I guess last episode I was not here. So we thought naturally, let's just stick with two and let's bring back the two guys who started this podcast more than a year ago. Sri, I think this might be the first episode we've done together, just both of us, since Rohan has come on, right?
Yeah, since episode 1, we're back.
Yeah, I think so. So, it's good. It's good to be back a year later, now in video. But we miss Rohan, and he'll be back next week, hopefully. But we got a lot of great games to discuss. We're right in the thick of it, in the middle of the NFL season. A lot of crazy games in Week 11. So let's start off with the one that kicked it off. The Tennessee Titans headed to Green Bay at Lambeau. Al Michaels did not let me forget how historic Lambeau Field is. But the Titans went in there. They won 27-17, a decisive win for them. Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry wasn't usual Derrick Henry. The Packers definitely tried to limit him on the field, but that Titans defense played really well. Ryan Tannehill had some really great throws. Treylon Burks, the first-round receiver, showed why A.J. Brown doesn't need to be on this team for this team to win. And the Titans look like they're ready to contend in the AFC, while the Packers, my Super Bowl pick for this year, seem like they may not, probably not, and most likely won't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest here. The way the Packers looked like the week before, their game against the Titans, they looked like really well. Like they were doing exactly what you were saying, Archie, at the beginning of the year. They were, very efficient in the run game. Aaron Rodgers had 3 touchdowns on just like 20 pass attempts. And I honestly thought them at home at Lambeau Field against the Titans, who, even though they are a great team, I thought the Packers were going to get it done. But, surprisingly, Ryan Tannehill honestly played the best game of the season so far. And I feel like this Titans offense has been kind of mid, but they've been getting back into it, and they're definitely a contender for the AFC.
Yeah, I think Mike Vrabel is showing, to me at least, he's coach of the year last year, so it's not like he's been going under the radar or anything, but I think he's really solidifying himself as a top 5 coach in this league. I mean, it's not like the Titans have much to work with on offense, but the Titans are a physical team that just finds ways to win.
Yeah.
And that's something that really can't be understated. Ryan Tannehill isn't exactly a world breaker at quarterback, but we saw what this team was with Malik Willis, and now with Ryan Tannehill. Malik Willis took the Chiefs to overtime. So with Ryan Tannehill, I think the Titans win that game, and that means with Ryan Tannehill, this team can contend with the very best in the AFC. So, I think we were a little bit out on the Titans. We were certainly on the Titans train last year, but I think it's time to hop back on it because the Titans can beat anyone in this league, it seems. And they have a really interesting test coming up with the Bengals coming to Tennessee next week that we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yep.
The next game in our 1 o'clock window, man, this was a weird game. Bill Belichick's dream game, I think. The Jets came to New England. The Jets, obviously, I think Bill Belichick likes being the Jets more than he likes the sport of football. He absolutely has destroyed the Jets. The Jets have not won in nearly a decade against the Patriots, even in New York and at Foxborough. And the Patriots won 10-3. A lot of people this morning, on sports commentary shows have been talking a lot about Zach Wilson. We're going to talk about him. But I just want to shout out what a great job Bill Belichick is doing with the Patriots yet again, showing why he is the best coach in football and the greatest coach to ever coach in the sport. I mean, this Patriots offense, it's worse than last year. Mac Jones isn't exactly a great quarterback, but this team is 6-4 in the playoff picture late into November, and that's a credit to Bill Belichick. This defense is probably the best in the NFL, as it was last year, and the Patriots are just opportunistic and just the best coach team in the NFL, and like I said, just like the Titans, they can beat anyone. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Jets, 2 yards of offense in the second half. Sheree, I don't know about you. I think this is it for Zach Wilson. I've been a fan of Zach Wilson since he's been drafted. I really liked his potential coming out of BYU, coming into the Jets as the second overall pick. But he looks like one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. He cannot, they simply need him to convert a couple third downs. They were running the ball pretty well. The defense was playing outstanding. 5 sacks on the Patriots. But I'm out on Zach Wilson, and this team is probably better with Mike White or Joe Flacco starting. And I think this team may miss the playoffs if they keep playing Zach Wilson the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm convinced that Joe Flacco is just so much better of a quarterback than Zach Wilson. The offensive efficiency that you have from the Jets when Joe Flacco is under center, it's just outstanding, like how much of a difference there is when Zach Wilson is really under center. I've been talking about this for such a long time. Any of the wins that they've had, it was either the defense or the run game carrying them. Even that game against Green Bay, that run game, was really shining in that game. Zach Wilson didn't really do too much. 9 for 22, 77 yards, and like a passer rating around 50. That's laughable in this league right now. And I get it. It's Bill Belichick. I get it. It's New England Patriots, but nobody's putting up those kind of numbers. Like by far, like the worst quarterback in the league right now, and that's saying something because you have people like Baker Mayfield who are doing better than Zach Wilson. So that's pretty crazy.
I mean, I don't know if he's doing better. He's doing less worse, maybe.
Yeah,
he's pretty bad too.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting. And honestly, credit to the Patriots. Like they are playing, the best they're playing the best division of football. You have, in my opinion, 2 top 5 teams in the NFL in that division. And you have the Jets, who are a borderline top 10 team. For them to get that done, for them to, compete in this division, Bill Belichick, that defense, give some credit to that man. He's, the GOAT of coaching for a reason. So I'm excited for the Patriots. But honestly, Arjun, do you think, I really don't think all 4 of these teams are going to, make to the playoffs. So who are you going to take from the division that is not going to make it to the playoffs?
So obviously Bills and Dolphins, I think, virtually guarantees at this point. Dolphins have a tough schedule, but I think they're a top 3 team in this league. They'll make it. The Bills will make it. For me, maybe this is reactionary, but I'm starting to think that the Patriots might make it over the Jets, and the Jets may be the odd team out here. For me, I mean, Mac Jones isn't playing great at quarterback, but I think he's better than Zach Wilson right now, which is every other NFL quarterback is better than Zach Wilson right now. And Zach Wilson might be the difference between this Jets team making the playoffs and they don't. Now, if the Jets pivot to Joe Flacco or Mike White even, we might be talking different here because the Jets have an overall better talented and just a better roster than the Patriots do right now. But as it stands right now, the Jets have not indicated that they're making any quarterback change. And, the Patriots have a tough schedule. They do. And they have a Sunday night against the Vikings, which I think should be a really interesting test for them. Both teams there, but I think I would take the Patriots over the Jets right now to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I would agree as well.
And speaking of the Vikings, let's talk about the beatdown that happened. The Dallas Cowboys, who I picked to win this game, nowhere near. I did not expect them to win 40-3 at Minnesota. I mean, this is really just a beatdown. This is the largest road win in Dallas Cowboys history, which says a lot when you look at those 90s teams that the Dallas Cowboys had and how dominant they were. But Minnesota going to 8-2. I mean, Sri, look, Minnesota's your team. I'll let you speak on this, but for me, I think even after the win at Buffalo last week, I was like, the bill is going to come due for Minnesota at some point, and it did come due here. They're not as good as their record indicates to me. They have a negative point differential now. I don't know. I think the Vikings are obviously the playoff team. They will win the NFC North, but to me, they scream one and done the playoffs to me. But, Sri, what do you think as a Vikings fan?
My initial reaction, the Dallas Cowboys are a Super Bowl contender. That's what I took away from this game, if anything. The Vikings, I haven't really been that high on the Vikings. I got a lot of shit on it for the podcast, on our podcast, but, pretty sure this game really just justified that. But the Dallas Cowboys, first of all, you have everything that you want from a Super Bowl team. You have a franchise quarterback, an amazing defense, and they have a good offensive and defensive coordinators just all around. It's perfect. I think they're very efficient. I think Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, for the first time, I feel like this season, you saw both of those running backs being incorporated into this offense in a very efficient manner. So I'm excited for this Cowboys team. I think America's team showed why they're America's team.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Come on now. Let's chill on the Cowboys. I agree with you. The Cowboys are Super Bowl contender, but I hate when the Cowboys are this good.
Yeah, I hate it as well. But I think you just have to recognize that the talent's there. They're getting it done, and for them to limit one of the best offenses in the league to just 3 points. I mean that says a lot about their defense. It also says a lot about the Vikings offensive line, which I think is honestly, probably the worst Vikings O-line in the league right now. I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's taken so many hits. I'm just surprised that he's not injured yet. I hope that he's not injured. I hope that he doesn't get injured. But the amount of hits that man takes, per game, I think the Vikings just need to make an investment into that line. I think limiting Justin Jefferson to less than 50 yards of receiving, how does that happen? I think obviously
So one notable injury on this game was left tackle Christian Darrisaw got a concussion.
He's the best one
concussion of this year for him. And Kevin O'Connell said already that they're holding him out of the Patriots game on Thursday. So, like you said, I mean, Kirk has been already getting hit a lot.
Yeah.
When Darrisaw went out, it got even worse. So against Matthew Judon, who's playing out of this world right now on Thursday night, that might get ugly without Darrisaw there. But yeah, like you said, I think the Vikings. I think the Cowboys, to me, Tony Pollard seems to really be emerging as a weapon.
Yeah.
And he's playing really well. Ezekiel Elliott is converting all those short yardage situations. So they've got their own kind of Kamara, Ingram, 2017, 2018 Saints kind of thing going there.
That's a really good comparison.
For me, I still kind of look. I like Dak, but to me, this seems. I'm not going to drink all the Cowboys Kool-Aid right now. We were doing this exact same charade last year around this time of year. I remember. There was the offense that was doing really well instead of the defense. Here's the other way around. Look, Cowboys are going to cowboy in the playoffs. I'll get into that a little bit later when we talk our predictions. But yeah, I'm not super sold on this team as a bona fide Super Bowl contender, but they can certainly compete in the NFC. Last game, Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs at the Chargers.
Oh,
they won 30-27.
Sorry,
I'm gonna go off on a little thing right here.
Oh god, here we go.
I'm so sorry to Patrick Mahomes. Look, I'm realizing. Look, I'm realizing I very much dislike the Chiefs. In fact, hate the Chiefs at this point because the Chiefs have become to me what the Patriots were for the past 20 years, which is this team that, despite everyone else's best efforts, cannot be defeated. As long as Mahomes, Reed, and Kelsey are on the same team together, I am convinced they will make the AFC Championship every single year. I'm convinced. Yeah. And the thing is, there's no stopping Patrick Mahomes. He is the best quarterback in football. He is probably the most talented quarterback to ever play this game. We're witnessing history right now, I think. I love Aaron Rodgers. I've loved Aaron Rodgers, but Mahomes has something that Rodgers has never had, which is really coachable, like very likable on the field and very much a leader of his teammates. Rodgers can kind of get into his fits sometimes. And Mahomes never shows any bad body language. He's always in it. He's always ready to win that game. And no lead is protected against Mahomes. And we saw that last night. I knew the moment Herbert scored that this was going to be a Chiefs win because there was too much time left on the clock for Mahomes and Kelsey to score a touchdown. And lo and behold, they did. I love Justin Herbert. I thought he played a great game. He lost Mike Williams early as well. The Chargers may make the playoffs. It's going to be a tough out for them because they have a tough schedule as well. But for the Chiefs, they're rolling to yet another 1 seed, it seems, and yet another chance at the AFC Championship and probably the Super Bowl again.
Yeah. I think we were talking about this before. Like, I thought Patrick Mahomes was going to be an MVP candidate. I called it. I feel there's no stopping him. Arjun, when you think of an MVP candidate, you think of, Patrick Mahomes, and you think of, I think, like, Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa maybe in that conversation right now. But I feel like I don't think anything's going to change, to be honest. I think Mahomes is going to get that MVP. I think the Chiefs are going to be the first seed for the AFC. I mean, we all knew that the ball was going to go to Travis Kelce, with their top 2 receivers out. And it did go to Travis Kelce. And, the Chiefs defense, they just could not do anything. 3 touchdowns for Travis Kelce. 35 fantasy points. Travis Kelce is just an MVP in fantasy, on the field for the Chiefs. I'm just very excited for this Chiefs team. I mean, I am really sorry for the Chargers team. Justin Herbert just has not had enough weapons.
Dude, I feel so bad. I think Justin Herbert's the player I feel bad for most in this league. Honestly, I feel so bad for him.
This was a team, just the off-season signings that they had, the free agent signings, it looked like they had a Super Bowl level roster. I feel like we all thought that. I had them literally going 13-4 in my predictions, and I had the Chiefs going 10-7. No way did I ever see the Chargers going 5-5. But Justin Herbert just has not had weapons, but he's still able to produce the ball. Josh Palmer is emerging as a wide receiver. It'll be interesting. I don't think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs right now. Honestly, Arjun, playoff picture wise, I think it's just going to be the Pats, the Dolphins, the Bills. and then it'll be the Bengals and the Ravens, and then all the other division winners. So that's what I
Yeah.
see right now. And rip Justin Herbert. That's all I have to say.
Sean Payton, come on down to Los Angeles because you might have a job at the Chargers next year.
Yeah, honestly.
No, I mean, I think if the Chargers don't make the playoffs, Brandon Staley is not a terrible coach by any means, but he's definitely not taking this team to where it needs to be. And, we'll talk about this probably more in the offseason, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets canned because a team with Justin Herbert should not be missing the playoffs. It's his third year in the league. He should have been in the playoffs by now, given how good he's played. But let's move to Week 12. Obviously, Thanksgiving this week. Thanksgiving football. We have some good games this year. I feel like better than usual. Teams that are all still kind of in the race. Starting with Bills-Lions, this might be actually the game I'm most interested to see, just because I think the Lions have been playing really well these past couple weeks. They're on a 3-game winning streak, biggest in the NFC right now. They demolished the Giants this past week. They played really well against the Bears, and they beat the Packers the week before. Obviously, Jared Goff is not a world breaker, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is playing really well. He's back. DeAndre Swift is getting healthy. Jamal Williams is leading the league in touchdowns. And one other thing, he won't be back for this game, but earlier today we found out first-round pick Jamison Williams they're opening up his practice window, so he'll be back probably in a couple weeks to unlock this offense. Now, the Bills are obviously a top 5 team in this league, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions keep this close. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions could pull off an upset here. They're a well-coached team. Their defense has gotten better. Aiden Hutchinson is playing really well. I'm going to take the Bills here, but I think the Lions are going to keep it close and keep it till the end, especially in Thanksgiving on primetime.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the Achilles heel of this Bills team has been, their run defense. And that, as much as like injuries contribute to that, I feel like there needs to be, a sense of accountability for them. And I feel like the Lions are really going to, just use their dual threat running backs and just like run the ball down to the Bills' throats. And I feel like A, that takes time off the field, but B, that's just going to put some points on the board. You take the stress off of Jared Goff, not let him make too many throws. And offensively, I think, the Lions will have a game plan to deal with this Bills offense as great as it has been. But defensively, as great as it was, the 3 teams that they did beat, and except I guess the Giants are fine, but the Packers and the Bears, at the time when they did beat them, they weren't impressive offenses. And I feel like the Bills, they're gonna get back on track. The Vikings loss probably hurt them as well. I think Josh Allen, it's hard to count him out. It's hard to count Stephon Diggs out. They had a good win against the Browns, even though it was just a lot of field goals all around. But I think, honestly, I'm comfortable taking the Bills. It'll be a fun game to watch. I think it'll be fun to see. I honestly think it might be just a home game. The amount of Bills supporters that were in that stadium the other day,
That's true.
Against the Browns, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a home game for the Bills. That fan base is so passionate, so crazy. But I'm gonna take the Bills. It'll be exciting for the Lions, though.
Yeah. Next game. This is probably I will fully say right now. I think this will be the most viewed game of the season easily, just because it's the New York Giants heading to Dallas Cowboys, New York and Dallas, 2 of the biggest markets. I think this will be a big game for viewership. And I don't know. Look, this Giants team, did they get exposed last week against the Lions? I think that's an interesting question. This Cowboys team is playing really well right now. This defense is there. I would have loved to pick the Giants before seeing how well the Cowboys did, but I don't know. I think the Cowboys at home on Thanksgiving might be a little too much for the Giants, who really need the wide receiver help. Daniel Jones cannot, he doesn't have the playmakers around him, and if Saquon isn't going, this team doesn't do that well. This team, they kept it close against each other earlier this season on Monday Night Football, but I'm feeling the Cowboys might take this one, despite how well the Giants played to start this year.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to make the playoffs. I feel like both of these teams are playoff contenders. I think they're just guaranteed for the playoffs just because of how great their records are and just the lack of competition in the NFC. But Saquon Barkley, that offense runs through Saquon Barkley. It's just as simple as that. And Daniel Jones, I feel like he's been playing better football, probably the best football of his career this year. But I'm just very interested to see what you think, Arjun. Do the Giants, if they don't make the playoffs this year, or if they just are a first round exit, do they make a move in the draft to to take someone else, a quarterback?
I think they do. Okay. I think Daniel Jones, it's a really weird situation for the Giants right now where I think the best example I would take is like you remember Case Keenum with the Vikings, right? Case Keenum
Yeah.
took that team to the NFC Championship, but the Vikings did not settle. I mean, they got Kirk Cousins, who's not exactly a world beater, but Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Case Keenum.
Mm-hmm.
And teams are getting aggressive with quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo has done a lot more than Daniel Jones has done,
Yeah.
but that team still traded three first round picks for Trey Lance. I would be interested to see the Giants try to move up in the draft, or if they go through free agency or try to trade for a high profile quarterback. Maybe Lamar Jackson, if he hits the open market, they could try and get him. But
That would be amazing.
I think that
honestly.
I don't want to. I think Lamar will likely resign, but yeah, I think the Giants. I think Daniel Jones is a really cool story. I think he still has an opportunity to be a starter in this league, but I just think it might be a little too much for the Giants, especially if they want to keep Saquon Barkley, who's also a free agent.
Yeah, for sure.
But last game, Sunday Night Football. Sure, I know you'll be watching this one. Patriots at Vikings. I'm gonna say right now, I'm taking the Patriots here. This just seems like a prime Bill Belichick spot right here. This defense is going to get after Kirk Cousins. I'm sure Bill Belichick has a plan for Justin Jefferson. He's one of the best receivers in the league, but Belichick always has a plan to limit their best player, the opposing team's best player. I think the Patriots have the personnel to do it. Offensively, Patriots' offense is pretty bad, but if the defense can do it and keep it close, I think Mac Jones has enough to where they can run the ball, ask him to make a couple key throws. It'll be a close game, but I think I'm gonna take the Patriots in this one.
No, all right. I'm gonna take the Vikings. I'm gonna take the Vikings, and I'll give you a couple reasons why. First and foremost, I feel like this Patriots offense. I feel like the Vikings have just like you talk about personnel. I feel like the Vikings have the personnel to stop the Patriots offense. You talk about personnel, you talk about the Vikings personnel on offense, and I think Justin Jefferson, I think Kirk Cousins, they had a rough stretch, and I feel like, Kevin O'Connell, just like Bill Belichick has plans, I feel like Kevin O'Connell, I feel like the culture has changed in the Minnesota. This is such a bad reason. I just have to take the Vikings for this one. That was not.
It seems you're like kind of going back on your reasons here, Sri. Also, I don't know about Kevin O'Connell's a great story, but I don't know about putting him in the same conversation as Belichick right now.
No, I agree. I'm just gonna take the Vikings. I don't got a good reason. That's all I'm gonna say. But it'll be good.
So it's definitely not a homer pick at all.
No, it's not. I feel like it'll be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots are leading 9-0 at the half, and then in the fourth quarter the Vikings make a comeback to 14-9 or something like that. Honestly, I feel like that might be the score. That's what I'm gonna pick for this week, actually.
Yeah. But last game, non-Thanksgiving, I'll say that the Week 12 schedule is not great outside the Thanksgiving games, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
This is the only game that really stood out to me. But it's a good one. Bengals going to Tennessee to face the Titans, 1:00 game. These two teams obviously faced in the wild card round last year. Ryan Tannehill had some really costly turnovers that cost the Titans the chance of winning. The Titans were obviously the 1 seed. They played in the divisional, but I think that I'm going to take the Titans here just because I think they're the better coach team. Obviously, Mike Vrabel, a better coach than Zach Taylor. They've been on rest as well. They played last Thursday night and they're playing on Sunday, so kind of a mini bye for them. Plenty of rest, and I think they'll be heading into this game. They'll have a game plan to stop Joe Burrow. The one thing is, keep an eye on Jamar Chase. He might be back next week against the Titans, which could be an X factor in this game. But
yeah.
Look, I've been doubting the Titans all year. I'm not going to doubt them here. I think they're simply the better team and the better coach team.
You talk about the X factor in Jamar Chase, and honestly, if I see that he's gonna come back, he's gonna be active, I'm gonna take the Bengals. And I feel like this Bengals team is just so big play heavy. I feel like this team is just built around having those big plays. The defense just gets motivated. I honestly think Ryan Tannehill, as much as he had a great game against the Packers, but it's just one game. If Derrick Henry, for example, he gets scuffed, just like how he was against the Packers, I honestly don't trust Ryan Tannehill to do that again. That's just me. That as much as the coaching
I will say, Sheree, remember Derrick Henry was out half the season last year, and they still got the 1 seed.
Okay, that for me, that's just I feel like that's just them getting it done. I don't think that's a testament to Ryan Tannehill's ability, and I feel like they just got it done somehow. I feel like I have to take the Bengals. They're in a win now situation. They know for a fact. I feel like they know that they're behind the Ravens. They just came off a huge road win against the Steelers, 37-30. They're putting up 37 points against the Steelers defense without Jamar Chase, and the Steelers defense played pretty all right. They played all right, but the Titans. I couldn't bring myself to say that they were like horrible.
It's tough. It's tough being a Steelers fan right now.
I'm gonna pick the Bengals. I feel like if Jamar Chase is back, this team's gonna get it done. That's just my take.
Yeah, I mean, Burrow's been playing great even without Chase. Obviously, they had that rough game to start against the Browns, but since then, obviously putting up like 45 against the Panthers, and then on the bye, and then this past week against the Steelers. Bengals are probably going to make the playoffs and still going to be a threat to really any team to make a run once again. I'm not going to dismiss the Bengals. I think they're still very much a threat. I just think the Titans may just be the better team here.
This AFC is just so... Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah. This AFC is just so competitive. It is crazy. Like, we just went through, like, all of these games, and, like, every single one, there was just no clear-cut winner. Like, you have, like... I think, like, I've never said this before, I feel like in the past 3 years, but I could honestly see, like, even though the Chiefs are great and they've been getting it done, like, I could honestly say, like, all six teams could win the AFC. Like, there's just... I mean... It's just so hard. Like, Arjun,
I agree with you. I'm just afraid of the Chiefs, man. I feel like I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs. I picked against the Chiefs for too long that, like, I'm not getting burned again. I feel like maybe if I pick them, then maybe it'll jinx them. But on that topic, actually, final segment, let's do something fun. Let's talk championship predictions.
Okay.
So we were just talking about the AFC. So we'll give our AFC championship predictions, teams coming out of there, who we think's going to win, AFC championship, who's coming out of there, and who's going to win, and then we'll talk our Super Bowl predictions to end off today. So we're just talking about the AFC. Sri, who are your two teams right now that you think are going to make the AFC Championship? We have not discussed this, by the way, so I'm really interested to hear what Sri's going to say.
All right, I'm going to say Chiefs-Dolphins. And
that's exactly what I have.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, we did not talk about this at all. We both took our off our sheet. We did not have this planned or coordinated. I just think this Dolphins team has a lot of momentum. I feel like offensively, defensively, if you talk about a team that you can't stop offensively, I feel like you think about the Chiefs and then you think about the Dolphins. I honestly think the Dolphins, they have the coaching. Nobody is stopping Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That is just so unstoppable. No defense is doing that. I feel like the Patriots defense, if anything, is going to do that. But I honestly think in the playoffs, I'm taking the Dolphins from their end, and I'm taking the Chiefs. And what about you, Arjun? Super Bowl. AFC Championship.
I also was going Dolphins Chiefs. The one other team that I was thinking about the Bengals, putting the Bengals here instead of the Chiefs, and obviously the Bills as well. I think the Bills could run some problems in the divisional round, especially when they have to face the Dolphins, Chiefs, or Bengals, because I think those four teams will likely be. We'll see how seeding plays out, obviously. But for me, I think I'm not picking against the Chiefs. They're going to make the AFC Championship, I think, and the Dolphins, to me, like you said, probably the best offense in football next to the Chiefs right now. And offense really will be the thing that wins in the AFC. And out of this matchup, I'm going to take the Chiefs. I can't look Tua, the Dolphins. It's been a great story, but the Chiefs are heading back to the Super Bowl in my opinion.
Yeah, me too. I'm taking the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl as well.
All right, NFC. I'll go first because I don't want. I hope we don't have the same one here as well. So for me, NFC was really tough because I think there's only one team I'm really confident in, but even then, I'm not that confident in them. So I have the San Francisco 49ers there.
Okay.
And I was between two teams to go against them, and I'm still kind of between them, but I guess I'll commit to one. I'm going to have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh my God, I was going to say the Bucs. All right, yeah.
All right, did you have Niners Bucks as well?
Yeah. I was waiting for you to not say the Bucs. I was like, I think this would be the craziest game, NFC Championship. You have the fan base of just the 49ers, and then you have Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Look, there's so many storylines in this game. Tom Brady facing his childhood team. Jimmy Garoppolo facing his mentor and Brady.
Oh.
These two teams will actually play in a couple weeks. I think they play week 14 or something. So could be a preview. The one team I was considering instead of the Bucs was the Dallas Cowboys. For me, with the Eagles to me, they're showing some flaws here as we get later in the season. That's not to say I don't think the Eagles could be the 1 seed. I think they certainly will. But to me, they seem like a divisional round exit, especially if Brady comes to town.
Yeah.
Against the Eagles, I think I would take Brady there. The Buccaneers, we'll see how they play this week against the Browns. Obviously, they should get a win there. It's not as doom and gloom as we thought for the Buccaneers, and they're in business to win this division. But the Buccaneers have to continue the momentum they've had in the past 2 and a fourth games, because the Rams game only the last minute or so was really promising for the Buccaneers. But
yeah,
I'm not counting out Tom Brady. There's 2 guys in football I'm not going to count out at this point. Obviously, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. But I don't think Tom Brady's going to make the Super Bowl this year. I think the Niners will win that matchup. They are the better team. Niners still have one of the best defenses in the NFL. And all of these playmakers together, McCaffrey, Debo, McKittle, Ayuk, all of them together with Kyle Shanahan will have a Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl, in my opinion, right now. That's what I'm predicting.
For me, I'm taking the Chiefs and Bucks. I'm taking the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. That's just me. I think the Bucks. I feel like Tom Brady's just gonna piss everyone off. I mean, I feel like the storyline's right there. He's gonna take it all the way to the Super Bowl. It's gonna be Tom Brady against the world in that Super Bowl. I feel like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they're gonna come out on top. But that's just my prediction. I don't think that calling the Chiefs the Super Bowl is anything of a hot take, or even the 49ers. These are all Super Bowl contenders that I feel like have proven themselves, but. I think the Bucs are going to take it against the 49ers just because it's Tom Brady. I feel like, and that itself is just such a valid reason. But yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs, Bucs, and I'm going to call it the Chiefs.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say right now is that last year at this time, I don't think either of us would have predicted it was Bengals Rams. So we're most likely I guess we're picking the favorites in hopes that we're right.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs are a pretty good bet to make the AFC Championship, though. I mean, the Bills could give them problems that they faced earlier on in the playoffs. Obviously, a lot of people were talking Bills-Chiefs as the AFC Championship. We'll see how the seeding works out. That really determines how these teams make it through. But it's going to be a really fun season to come, and we're going to be right there with you guys as we head into the playoffs. We're heading into Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving. We're thankful for all of you for watching these episodes, looking at all the content on Instagram. So we hope you guys have a great week 12 and a great Thanksgiving full of football. Make sure to check out our Instagram for all our picks, power rankings, all of that. And we have a lot of other content coming down the pipeline as we approach the playoffs. But yeah, hopefully Rohan will be back next week. I think it went pretty well. Without him. It was good to get back to our just me and Sri, but it's best when it's us 3. But my name is Arjun Ryan.
I'm Sri Bhavamkanda.
And we'll see you next week on the church.